So a month ago, a friend of mine in Nigeria called and she was complaining that a business she's running may have to close down because her husband is tired of investing and she's not seeing anything coming out of the business. And so I asked her a couple of questions concerning the business and she answered, and from what she answered, I was able to give her some tips that helps her. So yesterday she called and she was sounding really very happy, and I'm going to share those tips with you if you have a small business in Nigeria, because if it could work for her, then you can be sure that it's going to actually work for you. So getting started, there are two factors that affect the success of your business. Now, one is what I call the controllable factor, and another is what I call the uncontrollable factor. Now, for the uncontrollable factor is things like government policies and exchange rates, or environmental factors like natural disaster or things like that. Those are the things that you cannot really control when it comes to your business, and you're not the only one that is being affected once these things happen. So you don't really need to think too much about it. All you have to do is to focus on the controllable one, which is what you as the business owner will be able to change or control. Now, talking about that, we're going to be starting with how you track and record your sales. That is the documentation of your business transactions. Now, when I asked my friend how she records her business, like everyday transaction, she showed me something like this book. That is how she's able to record and save her transactions. And from everything she explained, you could tell that she did not really understand much about what she was talking about. So I had to help her out by teaching her the ways that actually worked for me when I was managing a business while in Nigeria. So I'm going to share that with you right now. Now let's talk about your documentation. If you're going to be documenting your business, you need 3 notes, like all those thick long notebook. You can actually get 3 of them because that is what you're going to be using. Now, your documentation, you're going to go over everything and how you should get started with this, and how you should place everything so you can understand it and you can give the report when you're asked, maybe by your investor. Maybe your investor could be your husband or anybody that is helping you out with your business. So you should have lines like this, and like this, and this for your business record. And we're going to go over all these lines one after the other. Now, once you're starting out your day in your business, your first note out of the 3 notes you're going to be using to record your business transactions should be a daily transaction note. Now, this daily transaction note should look like something like this, where you will have week 1, that is if you're starting your transaction in a month. Assuming for this month, June, you should write week 1 for June. But after learning all of it I'm going to be sharing with you on this video, you can start implementing it immediately, or you can choose to implement it by next month. So for the first note, you're going to have your dates, and then the second line is going to be items sold. The third line is going to be expenses, and the fourth line is going to be debts. Now, for the date, it's going to be the date of the day you are starting your business, and the items sold should be what you are selling. Like my friend, she sells a grocery store, what we call provision store in Nigeria. So for her, I told her she's going to be recording everything she sells according to the quantity, the item, and the price. Now take for instance, assuming she sold something like 2 eggs, assuming the price is 300 naira. She's going to record it 2 eggs, 300 naira, and then she used comma to separate it from another product she sold for that day. So assuming she sold 1 loaf of bread, she'll write 1 loaf of bread and use comma to separate it. Now this is how you're going to record everything you sold for the day. And once you're done for that day, if you have any expenses for the day, you also record it here. And then the debts, this one is very important, and this is for people that are owing, like that came to buy something from you and you do not really have the balance to issue them at that moment. You write it down here, and the way you're going to write it is you write the person's name and the balance. So I don't know if you can see this. So I wrote here Mr. Tony, balance 300 naira. Now this way you can be able to tell the exact person you're owing. You can also go ahead to write the item the person bought from you, so you don't really forget anything. Like maybe by the time they come to take their balance, you don't start thinking or trying to have issues with anybody. So once you write everything down, at the end of the day, once you're done with the business for that day, you roll over line like this. You roll over the line like this, so that tomorrow when you come, you start off again. Now this is for this particular one. Now the next note we're going to be using again to record your business is what I call total transaction note. Now, this total transaction note, what it will do for you is you'll be able to differentiate your business. Like my friend, she sells provision store, like I said earlier. So she broke her business into packaged, non-packaged, and drinks. Now, for packaged goods are things like the biscuits, the bread, and all those packaged stuff that are sealed. Now, for non-packaged, it could be things like the rice, the beans, vegetables, all those things that are not packaged. And then drinks, anything that's drinkable, you put them here. Now, once you're done for the day recording with this one, what you're going to do is you come here, you record item. The item for this one, assuming egg, you write egg. The quantity of eggs sold for the whole of that day, you record it here, according to what you wrote on this particular form. Now, the price for the whole egg you sold for that day, you write it here. Now, this is for the packaged. Now, for the non-packaged, assuming you sold vegetables, you write maybe two, depending on how the vegetables are packaged, like they are tied into different sizes. You can write them here, the quantity of that size you sold, and then the item, the type of vegetable you sold, and then the price here for that vegetable. Then the same thing for the drink. Now, here is for the expenses. That is all of these expenses you made here. The total of them, you write everything here. Now, this expense should include things like the debts you paid and the expenses you made. Assuming maybe you repaired a chair in your store, the amount it cost you to repair that chair, you write it here. And then the loss could be maybe you were able to see that one particular egg is rotten. You can write the price of that egg that is rotten here. That is for your documentation. Now, once you have done everything, and at the end of the day, once you have recorded everything you sold for that day, you roll over a line again, and then you write total. You write total here. So under this total, you calculate the total number of items you sold, like the quantity of each item. So maybe at the end of the day, you were able to sell 50 items, you write 50 here. The items, you might not really need to bother about this. And then the price, you write the total price here. Assuming you sold, like, let's say 20,000 in a day, you write it here. Then you do the same thing for all of them. And in the end, you will calculate the grand total. The grand total, which is the total of this for the quantity here, the quantity here too. And also you calculate the price here, and the price here too. Whatever you calculated, assuming for packaged goods you sold 20,000, for non-packaged goods you sold 10,000, and for drinks you sold, like, let's say 10,000. That is the grand total of 40,000 naira. So you write 40,000 naira here. So that is how you're going to record. Now, the essence of this is, if you record the quantity, you'll be able to know if you sold more of packaged goods or less of non-packaged goods or more of drinks. Now, this will enable you to know where to channel your efforts on. Like, if you're selling more of non-packaged goods, what it means is that most of your customers in your locales or wherever your community of your customers are more interested in buying non-packaged goods. So you have to, like, invest more in buying non-packaged goods in different varieties. So they will not have to leave your shop to go to anybody else's shop to buy from. So you will be their goals when it comes to that. Now, if you're selling more of packaged goods, it means your community wants more of packaged goods. So you can buy different brands. As you know, you're selling groceries, you can buy different brands of paste tomatoes that has different price tags, so that people can choose from depending on what they can afford. So you channel your energy on that. Another good thing about recording this way is, if you record quantity, assuming you finished selling a crate of egg and you checked the money you're supposed to make out of it and it's not tallying, then you can go back to this record. You will see if you actually sold 24 eggs or not, because there are usually 24 in one crate. So if there are less you sold, it means something happened to the remaining. So you can actually track where the problem is coming from in your business. Maybe somebody came to your shop and took it, or maybe your children came and they took, anything like that can happen in your shop. So that is the essence of recording this way. Now, for recording the items, you can be able to tell, assuming you're selling more of a particular brand of drink compared to others, assuming you're selling more of Coca-Cola compared to other soda you have in your shop, it means that your people in your locality are buying more of Coca-Cola. So what it means is that you have to channel your energy in buying more of Coca-Cola, since people in your locality buy more of it when they come to your shop. So this is the reason why you have to record your items like this, and you have to have a clear understanding about what you're doing in your business. And it also gives you control over how you manage your business. You can actually tell anybody that is coming to check, maybe the person that is investing in your business, like your husband, you can tell the person, see how things are going in my shop. Now, you can also apply this if you're selling things like wig. You can categorize it based on colored wigs and non-colored wigs, or long wigs and short wigs. If you're selling something like clothes, you can categorize it based on maybe trousers, blouse, gowns. If you're selling more of gowns, it means you have to get different varieties of gowns. And the only way to know is if you're recording this way. So this is why this is very, very important as a small business owner, so that you have clarity about where to channel your energy more in your business. Now, that is for this one. And now, the next recording you need to do is to be able to tell how your business went in a month, your performance in your business in a month. Now, this is assuming you're doing for June transaction. Now, you can actually use the same note you use to record this one to do this. Now, in a month, assuming week 1, this will have the summary of all the weeks in a month, so that you know which month you sold more and which month you sold less. And if you sold more in a particular month, you can be able to think back to know what actually happened or what made you sell more. And if you're able to figure that out, you can channel your energy in doing that so that you can continue selling more. Now, see this. If you, for week 1, assuming it's 1st day of June to 7th day of June, which is week 1, you have your packaged, the non-packaged drinks. You can now say the quantity, and how you're going to get all this is you're the 1st of June. You're going to calculate for 2nd of June, 3rd of June, 4th of June, 5th of June, 6th and 7th of June, the total of each of the prices of the packaged goods. Now, the same thing we do for this in terms of quantity, for price and everything. So once you're able to calculate the total for a whole week, then you record it here in terms of the quantity, and for a whole week you record in terms of the total amount. Now, once you have gotten the total amount, then you're going to do the same thing for this one, the non-packaged goods, for the packaged, for the drinks as well. Now, if you come here where I wrote grand total, you're going to calculate the grand total for day 1, the grand total for day 2, day 3 to day 7. Once you have calculated this, you write the grand total here where it says total. Now, the total expenses you got from here as well. Let's add for the whole 7 days. After you must have added, you put input here. Then total loss, that is the number of losses you incurred from things that got spoiled you did not get to sell for 7 days. You write them here. Now, the same thing is what you're going to do for each and every one of them for every week you recorded. Now, at the end of the day, you now calculate your total expenses. That is the whole of this. The whole of the total expenses here. You calculate it and you write it here. Now, the total sales you made from everything here, you write it here. Then you'll be able to know if you're making profit or loss. And how do you know if you're making profit or loss? Now, if in the beginning of the month you used 100,000 to invest in the business, maybe to restock your business, and by the end of the month you've noticed that you've sold most of the things in the shop, you should be able to know if you have made gain. And the way to do that is you minus the money you invested from the total sales you made. Then if you have profit that is big enough, or whatever the profit is, you write it here. Now, if you don't have any reminder, like there is no reminder at all, or maybe the reminder is negative, you know you are having a loss, and you write it here. If you don't understand any of these, please let me know in the comment section. I will explain better. So this is how you're going to do the recording of everything. The last one we're going to talk about when it comes to documentation is when you're investing in your business. That is when you're restocking your business. Now, here is, you see the quantity of items. When you make your list, a lot of people write things on a sheet of paper like this and they take it to the market. And once they come back, they discard it. That is very wrong. You need another note like this to write. So what you're going to do is write the date you're going to restock, and then you write the quantity of the item you're going to buy for each of them, then the item. Now here is the estimated amount you think they may be selling the item you're going to buy, and then the actual amount you bought it. And here is miscellaneous, like if there is anything that happened and you spent money on it. So here is it. Once you have listed the quantity, assuming you want to buy like 5 cartons of this pack, you write 5 here, you write noodles here. Estimated amount, assuming you estimated it to be 10,000 naira, you write it here. And maybe you bought it 15,000, you write it here. That is how you're going to record it. Now what this is going to do is, because you recorded estimated amount and the quantity and the items even before going to the market, you'll be able to know how you're going to sell to your customers. And another thing is, you'll be able to know the actual amount you're going with the market, so you don't get stranded in the market. And another thing is, you're going to make sure that whatever you're writing is what your customer needs. And here is the actual amount, so that you can show the person investing in your business to know that most of these things you might not really have the power over when it comes to exchange rate and stuff like that. So this is just for your record keeping, so that next time you're going to restore, you can be able to tell the estimated amount of money you'll be going with in the market, and then you'll be able to know what to expect in terms of prices of things going high or low. Although with the situation in Nigeria right now, anything can happen at any moment. So that is basically how you're going to do your documentation. So if you need a copy of this, you can let me know in the comment section as well. I'll be glad to send it to you. So here is all you have to do. So for the documentation, these are things that you can actually control and you can do on your own. And you can see how your business is going. Like, you can be able to track and take control of how your business runs. If you're amongst those that don't really stay in your store, and maybe you have someone staying, if you record this way, you can be able to track where something is going wrong and where something is not going wrong. So this is why you have to document this way. Now, this might be quite difficult for you to do starting out initially, but over time, you'll be able to make it part of you, and you see that it's quite easy to do. Now, that being said, the second thing you need to do to make sure that you sustain and make more profits during this time is your branding and marketing. Now, for people that own provision store on the streets, they think that there is no need for them to market their business, or people that are selling online, although those that sell online do always post, and marketing it that way. But there's something called branding. Have you ever gone to buy something from someone and they tell you they don't have balance, that you should come back in 2 hours time? How do you really feel in that situation? For me, it's quite annoying because I may have a need to use the balance, to solve. And in that situation, you start running around, to make sure that you settle everything and get everything you need. But if you know a particular store that's always having balance, no matter what you buy and the time you buy it, you'll always be going there knowing that nobody's going to tell you stories, about your balance. So that is called branding. That particular shop is known for always giving balance at every time. So your branding should be something, your value proposition, something that your business will be known for. Have you ever gone to buy something and someone is aggressive to you just because you came to buy from them? You will not like to buy something from that person again. Now, these are things that people don't really take seriously. It could be that the way somebody arranged their products in their store is really appealing. You just like seeing it. You just keep going there to buy from them. Or it could be that the person is always asking how you're doing, giving you a warm welcome each time you come to their store, or is always empathizing with any situation you find yourself. That could be why you always go there to buy things, and these are branding. So branding is a very broad thing to talk about, but just know that you have to figure out that particular thing that will make people leave other people selling the same thing you're selling to come and buy from you. Now, if you are somebody that is selling online, your branding could be that the particular picture you snap about the product is how that product is in the reality. Or it could be that if you tell your customer you're going to deliver on a particular day at a particular time, you make sure to deliver at that time. Or it could be that you always give your customers feedback, carrying them along on every process of the sale to make sure they get what they are buying from you. So you have to think about this. Maybe you're someone that you don't really take your store seriously, like you dress anyhow to the store and people come, you treat them like you're doing them a favor. They're actually doing you a favor because they have varieties of places to buy from, but they chose to buy from you. So you as a small business owner, you have to think about what you can actually do to make your business stand out from other people that are doing the same thing. And most times these things are quite little things that you overlook. And as a business owner, your goal should be to be able to do whatever you need to do to make your business grow such that you'll be able to earn salary while you're doing your work. Now, most of you that have small businesses don't really know that you should work towards paying yourself salary for the effort and the time you're putting in your business. So this should be your goal. And once you put all these things and be able to understand your customers, and the only way to understand your customers is if you're documenting your transactions well. So try to impute this and tell me what you think. And so far, if you learned something new, please take a time out, like this video, subscribe to this channel. We make videos about how you can make money online. And if you're looking for online jobs, you want to check out this video showing on your screen. Please don't fail to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.